Thousands of streaks of light converged into two lines. They entered a person's eyes. Lu Ye's body trembled slightly, and the world before him transformed into its true form. Young master, your clothes are. A young girl in a mint green dress, her features mischievous yet undoubtedly those of a stunning beauty, walked in carrying a basin of laundry. Her cheerful voice came to an abrupt stop. The same countless streaks of light condensed into two beams, merging into her eyes. Memories returned in full. They had been reborn. Reborn into many years ago, back to when they were still in the first heaven. And judging from the scene before them, this was the moment right after they had first entered the Grand Dao sect. Thud. The laundry basin crashed onto the ground. Why? Why? How could this happen? Chu Ling stared at Lu Yi in disbelief. They had actually been reborn. Lu Yi couldn't help but laugh. Haha, so that old fellow still has some conscience left. Thanks. Before transmigrating, he had been an orphan, never having received love. After coming to this world, he had desperately yearned for it, and he thought he had obtained it. And in truth, he had. But without a doubt, he had lost it again. From nothing to something, from having to losing, what eternity was there in love? Looking at it now, that betrayal had been nothing more than a passing frost. You had 9 lives. Why did you choose to self-detonate without even losing a single one? Chu Ling's gaze was sharp, with faint sword intent radiating from her, fitting for the 9 heavens sword maiden. Lu Yi didn't bother explaining. What the hell does it have to do with you? Do I owe you an explanation? He said casually. He pulled a piece of paper from his storage pouch. A contract of servitude. Chu Ling's expression shifted. In truth, this was merely a common document among mortals, without any Dao laws enforcing it. Even if it were broken, there would be no consequences. And yet, to Chu Ling, it was the greatest humiliation. She hated it to the core, yet was bound to comply with it against her will. Flames ignited. Chu Ling's eyes widened in shock. Without the slightest hesitation, Lu Yi burned the contract. The black ashes drifted to the ground. All right, you're free. Chu Ling clenched her teeth, her stunning face icy cold. Why? Her voice trembled. You still haven't answered my question. You had 9 lives, why did you choose to self-detonate during your first? I already told you, none of your damn business. Now get lost. Chu Ling's body shuddered slightly, her eyes reddening. As the contract burned away, she suddenly felt as though a piece of her heart had gone missing. And yet, this was exactly what she had wished for. You'll die a miserable death in this life. Leaving behind a curse, Chu Ling turned and left. Lu Yi chuckled. In truth, he could have cut her down right then and there. But sometimes, death wasn't the cruelest punishment. Right now, Chu Ling was filled with anger and resentment. Even if he killed her, she wouldn't feel true suffering. So instead, he would let her live. Let her live well. After leaving Lu Yi, Chu Ling took in the familiar yet foreign courtyard. She had spent a long time here with Lu Yi. He had often teased her, making her blush before bursting into laughter. He had also looked at her with indulgence. Sometimes, as she massaged his shoulders, the golden hues of sunset would bathe them both, and for a fleeting moment, she had thought, this is peace. But now, none of that could ever happen again. She let out a bitter laugh. I really am pathetic. I actually once enjoyed serving someone. Lu Yi had forcefully taken her from Chu Sword Manor, keeping her under his control, refusing to let her return home. And when he had finally allowed it, Chu Sword Manor had already been wiped out. Now, there was no place for her in the Grand Dao sect. She had never been a disciple of the sect to begin with, only a servant girl, allowed to stay because she belonged to one of the disciples. Go home. Thinking of her parents, Chu Ling felt an urgent longing to return. She immediately descended the mountain, rushing toward Chu Sword Manor. Yet, despite her overwhelming desire to return, the doubts in her heart remained. Her original intent had never been to kill Lu Yi. Everyone knew he had 9 lives, and back then, all 8 of them had agreed to spare his final life. They wanted him crippled, kept at their side, forced to atone for his countless sins over the years. Yet, before even losing his first life, Lu Yi had chosen to self-detonate. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. She was going home. Silence. Lu Yi knew Chu Ling would return home. Chu Sword Manor was a den of devils. Chu Ling possessed an innate sword body. If the manor had chosen to nurture her properly, she could have grown into a formidable force, protecting the sect for generations. But they wouldn't think that way. They already had a young master with a primordial sword embryo, they had no need for another rising sword prodigy. Moreover, the sect's Grand Elder had forged a demonic sword, and it required a sacrificial offering, someone born with a sword physique. Naturally, Chu Ling had been chosen. Lu Yi had dragged her out of that place, forced her to stay by his side. He had never told her the truth. He hadn't wanted her to know that her so-called familial love was nothing but an illusion. Lu Yi knew better than anyone, even false love was still love. Some people never even had the chance to experience an illusion of love, and that was truly the most tragic fate of all. The demonic sword was nearly complete. Without Chu Ling, it had remained waiting all this time. And in the end, when the sect failed to find a suitable replacement, they had no choice but to use their own young master as the sacrifice. The day the demonic sword was completed was also the day Chu Sword Manor was destroyed. Now that Chu Ling was returning, the entire sect would be overjoyed. They wouldn't have imagined in their wildest dreams that someone who had already escaped from hell would walk straight back in to die. Truly, some people were just born to die. Bang! Before Lu Yi even had time to begin cultivating, his door was kicked to pieces, splinters of wood flying everywhere. A woman in tight-fitting red martial robes, legs longer than her lifespan, stormed in with a face full of fury. My door! Lu Ye's rage instantly exploded. You damn well could have just walked in. Why the hell did you have to kick my door down? Without a door, how the hell am I supposed to sleep or cultivate in peace? Lu Ye's figure vanished, and in an instant, his hand was clamped around Yu Hongling's throat. Yu Hongling snorted coldly, raising a palm to retaliate. But in just one move, Lu Yi had already caught her by the neck. With one hand, he lifted her off the ground. Today, you're fixing my damn door, Lu Yi said icily. If you don't, I'll choke you to death. He had cultivated for so many years, and barely anyone had dared to break his door down. Without a door, he had no sense of security. Yu Hongling's face was full of defiance, her gaze locked onto Lu Yi, her delicate features flushed red from lack of air. She showed no sign of yielding. And Lu Yi showed no sign of letting go. Kill her. Kill this goddamn woman. The suffocating pressure intensified. Yu Hongling's throat was about to be crushed. The ice-cold killing intent in Lu Ye's eyes wrapped around her like a nightmare. He actually wants to kill me. He actually wants to kill me. Yu Hongling's mind reeled in disbelief. Was this really the same senior brother who had always spoiled her, who had always indulged her temper tantrums? No. She couldn't die yet. She hadn't seen Feng Wuxia yet. She had been reborn. She was supposed to reunite with Feng Wuxia. They were supposed to be lovers admired by all, envied even by the heavens themselves. Fix. A strangled, broken voice rasped from her throat. Only then did Lu Yi toss her aside. If my door isn't fixed by the time I get back, you're dead. I mean it.